What's up, people? I'm Shaggy, the Opinionated Hippie, and this is part 28 of my ranking and reviewing Frank Zappa's guitar solos within the context of an album. Today, just got Funky Nothingness while back, but still have not fully absorbed it, so waiting on that to drop a review on that. Plus, yesterday was the hottest recorded day on planet Earth in the history of recording temperatures on planet Earth. So welcome to the day after the hottest day the planet has ever experienced, which is appropriate because this might be the hottest album Frank has ever released, guitar soloized. One-shot deal. And this is the kind of release I wish the Zappa Family Trust would go back to doing. Single CD releases, kind of like what they were doing a little bit with the Joe series, kind of with their birthday bundle series, where it was just this sort of eclectic mix of material, almost like You Can't Do That on Stage, but a single disc, you can't do that on stage. Like, I don't know, I listened to this disc a lot. I mean, it's got 74 stuff from Fall 74. It's got stuff from the Petit Wazoo. It's got stuff from 79. It's got stuff from 78 Winter. It's got stuff from Halloween 81. It's got stuff from 73. It's like all over the map. And it's just such an enjoyable listen because it's like a mixtape that I would put together myself because the quality is so good. And so just before I get into the solos, if Joe Travers or anybody who works for Zappa Family Trust is watching this, I volunteer to come work and put together 70-minute compilations of material that are live from all over his catalog. I will pick the tracks, I'll sequence them, I can name it, I can do whatever you want. But we need more releases like this, single CD releases, kind of cheap. I would buy it. I don't know who else would, but I think it's fantastic. Anyways, 4 guitar solos. I'm going to rank them, then I'm going to put them on the screen, then I will tell you where this album falls amidst the other albums that I've already done. Guitar solo number 4, going from 4 to 1, is Bathtub Man. This is a guitar solo from Paris, September 26, 1974. Cosmic Debris. We get just the solo section. We get Duke doing his keyboard solo, and then we get Frank doing a really good, really bluesy, really stretched out, really 74-ish, absolutely amazing Cosmic Debris solo. We don't get any of Cosmic Debris other than the solo section, but this is a Cosmic Debris solo. Excellent. Back from the time when you were looking forward to Cosmic Debris solos because they were really good and stretched out and brought the right energy. Really, really, really good solo. It's 4 because the other 3 are almost perfect. We have 2 solos released from the Paris shows. This solo, plus the solo Merely a Blues in A off Frank Zappa Plays the Music of Frank Zappa, is just an improvised blues jam from the following Paris show. They both have good sound. I'm going to imagine that the entire shows were recorded because it was in Paris. It's probably a better venue. So maybe we could get some Paris 74 shows released, like a road tapes Paris 74. I would buy it. Probably be my all-time favorite release. But yeah. So anyways, we have two releases from these Paris shows and they both sound good. So maybe. Number 3 is Heidelberg. This is a Yo Mama solo from February of 78, February 24th, in Heidelberg, of all places, which is why it's called Heidelberg. We don't get the whole solo. I'm almost positive the solo gets cut off. We get almost 5 minutes of it. We get the very experimental early part where Frank's just kind of floating in space. Then he goes into this chugga, what I can only imagine is it's a chugga groove where he just starts going dun 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 chugga chugga chugga, chugging these chords, and Bozio's just playing this boom 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 boom, and Frank's just chugging over that, and that goes for a while, and then we go back into the spacey part before there's a really, really cute, clean edit into an 81 Illinois Anima Bandit. So we don't get that third part of Yo Mama where the keyboards come in and it's uplifting. But the Yo Mama solos, this one in particular, or maybe all of them actually, remind me of the movie Time Bandits, particularly Evil, when he's in his sort of ultimate fortress of darkness or whatever it is. And he's got that really long fingernail or finger, and he's stirring his like cauldron of doom or whatever it is, where he looks in and sees where the time bandits are. And the beginning of this, when Frank's just kind of like ripping off those licks, and the keyboardists are coming in with some weird noises, and Bozio's not doing much, but Patrick might be dropping a couple bass notes. Maybe Ed's dropping some little effects. But that beginning setup reminds me of when Evil is just kind of like swirling the clouds to kind of see what's going to happen. And then once he sees what's going to happen, then he casts his spell and like things come to life. In this case, the chugga, 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 chugga. We don't go to battle in this one, unfortunately. We cut off before we do. But it's a great 4.5 minutes. Just Frank sounds great. The chugga, chugga sounds great. We don't really get that full engagement of Yo Mama. But this is a really, really, really solid listen. Number 2, Halloween 81, The Late Show, Illinois Anima Bandit. This would eventually be released again on the Hollywood 81 box set. This came out before that. Great solo. It's got that, what is it? Soup and Old Clothes thing in the middle where it goes from Shut Up and Play Your Guitar, the Soup and Old Clothes. That is an Illinois Anima Bandit solo from 80, December 80, I think. And so we get like your typical bluesy solo, and then we go into that that little riff vamp, that vamp that occurs like halfway through the solo. And that's when Frank just starts going, making noise and squiggling and just gets all crazy. And he's just kind of like, all sounds like static, but it's like really crazy guitar playing. Excellent, excellent solo. I've many, many times gone on record that I'm not a big Illinois Anima Bandit fan, but this solo is fantastic. I think Illinois Anima Bandit works much better in the context of like all these other things, because we get like a 72 Petit Wazoo jam with a horn solo. We get an epic guitar solo, another epic guitar solo, and then that goes into Illinois Anima Bandit. And I don't know, it just works better for me, the song, and the solo is just fantastic. Number 2. And then number 1, which I would rank as a perfect solo, which is going to be in contention. Because what I'm going to do is, when I'm done doing all of these, I'm taking what is number 1 on each album, and then they're going to go head to head, and I'm going to rank those. I might even turn that into like my March Madness come next time, is take my personal rankings of the solos and have people vote on their favorite. Occam's Razor. It is the Inca Roads solo from which Toto line, parentheses, on the bus, that solo on Joe's Garage comes from. This solo is like 8 minutes and 30 seconds long. He took about 2.5, 3 minutes of that and turned it into On the Bus. This is a perfect solo. It is an Inca Roads epic solo, but it's kind of restrained. Like if you listen to the other Inca Roads solos from here, which if you don't know what those are, Shut Up and Play Your Guitar, Return of Son of More, Shut Up and Play Your Guitar. The title tracks of the Shut Up and Play Your Guitar songs are Inca Roads solos from 79. Go listen to those. Those things are crazy. They're all over the place. Vinny is crazy. Arthur's crazy. It's just like almost insanity. It's very, very pushing the boundary of like where Frank could go for 5, 6, 7 minutes straight. This is an 8+ minute solo that stays pretty focused the whole time. Like every time I listen to this, like that opening like theme, the On the Bus theme that Frank's toying around with, like we reached the 3.5 minute mark of this solo, and I'm like, wow, we're 3 minutes in already. It just feels like Frank's still setting it up. Like, and the whole thing is just takes its time. Vinny's pretty controlled in it. Vinny can be pretty manic at times. He's pretty controlled in this one. It doesn't really deviate a lot and go into these really, really crazy sort of side trips that sometimes it will go into. It stays pretty focused, stays pretty centered around that theme, that On the Bus theme that Frank uses for that. It is just one of Frank's perfect creations, and it has to be the shortest 8.5 minutes of all time. Like, it just doesn't feel like it's that long of a solo, because when it ends, and it ends because they include the return into the da-na-na-na, the back into Inca Roads, and that kind of fades out before they go into Heidelberg. But that when they slide back into Inca Roads, it's I'm like, oh, really? Because it doesn't really reach this like peak, frenzy peak where you have to go into it. It just kind of wraps up. But it's the most satisfying 8.5 minutes. Like, There are so many just incredible little phrases, and it really is just like Frank's talking the whole time. It's like he's giving a lecture, and like the theme is da da da, whatever that like those opening notes are. It's just, I don't know. It's one of Frank's perfect 10 solos, and there have been a number that I've done already on here. A number off stage 4, off stage 2. There's a couple perfect 10s on there. There was an 88 perfect 10. There have been some perfect 10s, but I think this ranks up there as a perfect 10 guitar solo. Occam's Razor. So anyways, those are the 4 solos that are on here. There's some good playing on Australian Yellow Snow, but it's not a solo. But he has some nice ripping off some good licks, and the Nano grubs apart. And that's about it for this as far as guitar solos go. But yeah, absolutely fantastic release. This is where I would put it with all the other albums. All the way up there at number 2, right there behind the amazing A Token of His Extreme, which also has a perfect 10 guitar solo on it. I made a video about that if you want to see which one it is. I might have 2 perfect 10 guitar solos on it. That's a really good release. But yeah, that's where it would rank, right there. Just 4 fantastic solos. As far as guitar solos go, you cannot go wrong with this release. One-shot deal. But that's all I got. Let me know your thoughts on this. And if you haven't listened to Occam's Razor, go listen to Occam's Razor. It's one of the best things. The fact that this was put out after Frank, I love the fact that they released this. I don't know if Frank had mocked up this release prior to his passing. I'm sure there's info about that out there. I'm sure I know this at one point. But this is so good. So good. Yeah. Anyway, great release. For some reason, the CD is orange. Don't know why. It's the navel orange. Maybe I do know why. One-shot deal. The whole thing is orange. I don't know why it's an actual orange. I think I know, but I forgot. Anyways, that's it. I'm rambling. Thanks for watching. Peace. Talk to you later.